Today on episode 53, our Artist Gilmore episode of Typical Chicago Fans presented by From the Sideline, we have Sinkers and Floaters, an NFL roundup of Week 7, a Week 8 campus tour around college football, and a TCF Top 3 promotional giveaways. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 53 of Typical Chicago Fans presented by From the Sideline. We are here. It is Monday, October 21st. This episode will be dropping a little later because
Zach's a dummy.
I forgot to drop the other episode, but you'll be getting a lot of content from us.
A lot of content this week.
We also have an Impossible Burger King burger review coming out here. We let's just say we weren't impressed.
No,
we weren't impressed.
Yeah.
Less than impressed. But what were we to expect from a burger made of like vegetable shit from Burger King?
So it was made out of a meat alternative.
But that will be coming out here soon. But I am Zach Lilia, and if you're watching us on YouTube, you can tell above me my Twitter handle is there. But if you are listening to us on podcast form, I don't even know what the fuck that meant. Podcast form. But if you are, you want to follow me on Twitter for all the good, bad. I mean, it's been bad lately. Like I'm gonna get into it on the Sinkers and Floaters, but my teams have made me very depressed lately.
Yeah.
But if you want to follow that, it's at ZLilia, LILJATCF. If you want to follow the main page, it's at typical_Chicago. Here comes a curveball here. If you want to follow From the Sideline, maybe just type in From the Sideline on Twitter or type in at sideline. The first I in sideline is a one sport.
We gotta get that fixed.
It's been I don't know. It's at sideline. The first I in that is a one sport. If you want to follow them on Twitter, Facebook. We do a Facebook live show every week.
Every week, once a week. Weekdays. You mess that up all the time.
We do a weekday show between Tuesdays and Thursday, usually around 8 o'clock, 7 or 8, usually whenever we can get to it. We talk about all the sports, everything going on, maybe a little bit. We'd like to do that more, not more, but we like to do that because of the comments.
Our audiences have been great lately.
Great questions. We have some out there questions. We also get some just life updates in general from people.
Yeah.
Just what they're doing.
Men of the people.
What they're doing during their day.
Exactly.
Shout out Pat Beal.
Shout out.
But also you can go From the Sideline on Facebook. They post all of our podcast blogs. The podcast that will be coming out, episode 52. We can hype up a podcast episode that we haven't even dropped yet because that's the first time I think we've ever done that. Shout out Zelo, smart dude. But then on Instagram, we do a little ping pong action before we do our podcast. You can catch that on Instagram and then also From the Sideline on Instagram.
Make sure you follow me on Twitter at BoomyTCF. I'm definitely the funniest one in the gang, so make sure you follow me. Right. And it's not all misery, piss pants about my gambling losses like some other people.
Yeah, not all the time.
Not all the time. I say that, and my literal last tweet was, why in the hell did I ever think betting on the Jets was a good idea? They're down 24-0 right now.
We're all in the same situations at certain times.
Absolutely. I was up like probably 12 units in the middle of September. I'm down about 8 units right now. So
you had a big play on this Jets game that you're going to lose.
2 units on this.
But I had the Patriots first half of the Monday night game. Excited for the first big win.
The Jets to do something.
24-0.
Yeah, not good. But if you like our podcast here, you're either listening to them on Apple Podcasts or you're listening to them on Spotify. Whichever one you're on, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review, or just follow on Spotify. And like Zach said, coming out this week will be our Burger King Impossible Whopper review that will be dropping here in the near future. We went down to our local Burger King and tried a very suspicious looking Whopper. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. It was
not great. And we also went
to some
other
sandwich I got was really good though.
We went to some random truck stop Burger King, which
it's a fire burger.
It's a fire Burger King, but we can't be expecting the greatest burger of all time. Which I was also saying. What vegetarian goes, man, I'm so happy that Burger King got a burger I can eat. I'm so excited. Maybe there probably are people out there, But I'm saying it's got to be a limited amount.
A slim clientele.
Yeah, if you're being a vegetarian, I don't think your big thought is, oh, man, I'm going to miss the Burger King burger.
Yeah.
But that's just me. But you want to get into our sinkers and floaters?
Yes.
I'm going to get into my sinker real quick because it's just been a rough few months. The Cubs, they killed me the last week of the year. The last 2 weeks. I guess the last 2 weeks. Losing 8 straight of the biggest games of the year. Ending the season just in horrible fashion. Joe Madden, my favorite coach I think I've ever had as a Cub manager, just because, I mean, it's been, 6 years?
Yeah.
So that's quite a bit of a Cub life.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's the winningest coach in Cubs history.
Gets fired, and I'm like, okay, we'll move on. We got also a little thought on that. I heard, is it Joe Espada? They brought him in for a second interview.
First one to get a second interview,
which I'm a big fan of because I have been on the. I'm not a big fan of the David Ross, but this doesn't even have to do with that. It's just he's been in an organization that has been into the World Series 2 of the last 3 years. That organization is ran like an the Cubs want to
run. It's a well-oiled machine.
The analytics and stuff that they do, they want to bring over to their team, and he will know a lot about that. I don't see, unless he doesn't want to leave the Astros, because I've heard the Astros are willing to give him a lot of money to stay.
Yeah.
But if he is willing to leave, I don't see why he is not the first guy you ask to be the coach of the Chicago Cubs.
My perfect situation is Joe Espada is the manager and David Ross becomes the bench coach. But David Ross, I don't think, is going to take that. Like, why would you pass up ESPN to be the bench coach for the Cubs?
But you say that, but this guy was the bench coach. If you can prove yourself to be a good bench coach and get through to players, I think that would be a great spot for David Ross.
I agree, but at the same time, like, look at the landscape of Major League Baseball right now where guys are getting picked up left and right that have never managed before to become managers. So if he has an opportunity maybe to go manage someone else or go back to ESPN or sit and be the bench coach for a couple years and kind of grind it out in the old sense, I think he's either going to be the manager of the Cubs or he's going back to ESPN.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't want that bench coach job, because you get a few years under your belt, not much pressure, because if the Cubs aren't doing well, they're not looking at the bench coach, they're looking at the manager, and you're in a situation where you feel comfortable. Right. I think if you're David Ross, that would be my perfect situation, other than coaching the Cubs.
Right, but if you look around and you see your fellow peers that are getting picked up, like Rocco Baldelli, it got picked up in his coach.
That'd be a great spot to be.
I agree. I completely agree. You and I look at it from a grind perspective. Like, yes, I would love to grind it out for 3 years.
He has to grind it out.
And it's not even like his backup option though is pretty damn good. Like, go work for ESPN. Like, that's the way I look at it.
But I don't know how long that'll last. I mean, I've never been turned on a David Ross game commentary and been like, damn, that was great.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he can't go. I mean, there's John Smoltz
is terrible.
Awful.
This might be a bad take, and I don't know how you like. I love Matt Vasgersian.
Yeah, I'm a big
fan. I like him.
But I mean, Alex Rodriguez kind of, and I mean I just don't think those three should be doing games together. Yeah. I think they kind of are all kind of different in their own way. I mean, I don't know. I love the Sunday Night Crew. I like him. I've never been a fan. I mean, I like Alex Rodriguez in the aspect of he can bring a player's perspective to the game. But sometimes he gets a little too much into it.
He gets too basic for me. And I get it. It's kind of like my gripe with Joe Buck. I think Joe Buck's a good announcer, but there's times when he tries to dumb baseball down so much to the lay person, the person that's not a big fan, that it almost ruins it for, the diehards like ourselves that are so invested in baseball, know every player and know every situation, when he's trying to explain, like, why this guy might be stealing, Like
another interception, I think, for...
Yeah, the Jets are done. Just burn the franchise.
But, yeah, a long thought there turned into, yes, my sports life last few months have been awful with the Bears and everything. But also, another sinker of mine, I have two. The Chicago Bears players' feelings. Matt Nagy comes out after the game and says we're going to I would say, yes, it's soft in a way, but with what Matt Nagy said, it's weird. Did you hear what he said? They're gonna put earmuffs on. They don't want to hear anything. They're not going to listen to the media. and then
weren't
they go and
chirping on
do
Twitter
that. Yeah,
and
that's
shit?
what I mean.
Yeah.
I really don't have. I mean, yeah, some of this like the Tariq Cohen going back and saying, yes, I know, I'm sure they shouldn't go back on that because he's getting made fun of, but he kind of had some cheap shots before that.
It wasn't unprovoked.
But my thing is, if you're going to say that as a coach, maybe you should talk to your players and make sure that they're not going to go do that because then they make the coach look dumb.
It felt like Cohen was like firing off that tweet as Matt Nagy was saying, we're going to put
it's one of those things like if you're going to say that, you got to make sure that your team knows if they say something, you got to either fine them or have some kind of discipline.
Some sort of accountability.
Because you can't go out as a coach that lost a game, that big of a game, coming off a bye week, and then go on and say that, and then your team do the opposite of what you said. It kind of shows, or kind of makes you think, does he have a lot of control over the team?
For sure.
We'll get more into that with the whole offensive scheme, but Boomy, you can go on to yours.
All right. Well, Bears fans, I know life is tough right now. You're sitting at 3-3, but you could be Nick Lestina from Bagley, Iowa, because he's my sinker this week. Nick Lestina came home and found 5 inches of blood, fat, and other animal tissue flooding his family's basement in Bagley, Iowa, about 45 miles northwest of Des Moines. Yes, I said that right. Blood, fat, and other animal tissue. What happened was they say the waste is coming from a neighboring meat locker where blood and tissue from slaughtered animals was washed down a drain. It clogged up, broke the pipes, and sent waste into everyone else's drain system and backed up in this poor man's basement.
Boomy, I hate to be this guy, and this just proves I'm listening. I think this was your sinker last episode.
No.
I'm pretty sure I've heard this.
It wasn't from me.
Well, I'm just saying, I think I've heard the blood thing.
No, I'll have to go back and look what my sinker was. But no, yeah, could you imagine, though, you come in, you like go down to your basement to get a beer, and there's just 5 inches of blood and
gross.
Guts. And no, I don't even have it written out here. I don't think that was my sinker. Now you got me worried.
I'm just saying, I've never – that story, I kind of knew what you were going to say before you said it, and I'm like, there's no other reason I
mean, I might. October. When did we record that episode?
It would have been like a week ago, Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, this article didn't come out till Wednesday the 16th, and we recorded it Monday because I remember I didn't have work and you did.
So I don't know where else I would have heard.
But can you
story.
imagine, like, you come home, and you're like, "Oh, honey, I'm gonna go get a beer," and then you like walk in, you're like, "What's that smell?"
Yeah, that's
and you
gross.
look out, and there's just blood and guts, and if my first thought is like, you're gonna think you like walked into like a mass murder, right? 5 inches of blood. But, hey, Bears fans, it could be a lot worse. My floater, on the other hand, is live mascots. I love a good live mascot. Mike the Tiger, Uga the Bulldog. But Cincinnati, the Bearcats, are getting a new live mascot. A baby Bearcat was revealed at the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden on Friday, October 18th. So he will be unveiled as the new live mascot for the Cincinnati Bearcats. But he needs a name, so there's a contest going on to find a name for this nice young Bearcat cub. And they will unveil the name at the homecoming game against Connecticut in early November. So I love a good live mascot. I think every team should. That is an animal. Like that, when I was at NIU, we had Mission, the husky.
What if Alabama just had an elephant?
An elephant. That'd be
just
dope.
That'd
be dope. Like,
that would be cool.
Like Florida.
They can afford it.
Oh, for sure. And like we have like Allie the alligator and Alberta the alligator, but those are costume mascots. Like we got to get a live alligator roaming around out there.
If you have an animal as your mascot, you should have to have a live animal at every home game.
Except for Oklahoma, that did go pretty poor the other day. The Sooners, did you see that?
That's not the first time that's happened.
No, that thing went down.
Well, what did they expect? They were going so fast.
And they cut that turn way too sharp. Like, that's,
I think it happened last year, actually.
I think it happens like once a year, dude. They slammed.
That's crazy. But my floater is Stephen A. Smith's hate for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, he is always hating on the Dallas Cowboys. The callers he gets on his show are just always getting him all riled up about the Cowboys. Him and Michael Irvin, going crazy again today on Stephen A. Smith. His takes are pretty wild takes. Not wild in the sense of like crazy, but he goes crazy.
Oh, yeah.
He's very passionate, I guess, about the Cowboys. But he loves going on that show early morning.
Oh man, I don't like him.
I've grown to love the character that is Stephen A. Smith. He's hilarious.
I mean,
he's funny.
I respect what he's done. He's been a dog. Like, he started off in radio a long time ago in journalism. Like, I respect what he's done. I just don't find any of his takes to be any good.
Yeah, I mean,
opinion. I also find Skip Bayless super annoying too. So you'd be hard pressed for me to find anybody that
Skip Bayless is annoying.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith has at least like a little bit of. I mean, his character. He's a character.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He has a personality to it, and he goes in one direction, but he can at least. I mean, he does that show. I think it's like a 2-hour show every day on the radio by yourself.
You will address me as sir.
Yeah, that was
not
funny.
Disrespect me.
That's where the
on
best
my
calls
radio
come from.
show.
Is this another one? Oh no, the Jets.
The Jets are just.
Oh no, that was.
I need to like give you some sort of power that anytime I think about gambling on the Jets, it just zaps me.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
I don't do that.
I can't. I did when you told me about your 2-unit play on the Jets. I was very surprised, but I also could tell
Patriots.
there
I don't
was
think
a
have
lot
covered
of
a first half spread this year.
I know,
and the Jets just come off a
I've
big
lost
win.
every one of them.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying.
I had to ride it until it hit at some point. So I think maybe that's your problem is you ran up against a guy who just couldn't lose another first half.
Exactly.
And also just you could tell there was so much hype around the Jets.
Yeah. For sure.
That I mean they're
it's all right. I'll bounce back.
But let's get into it. Week 7 of the NFL is almost in the books. We'll get right into it. New Orleans goes into Chicago. It looks a lot better at the end of the game, but it was not. It was never close. Ugly. It was a blowout. There was 2 trash touchdowns. Mitch Trubisky threw the ball 54 times. I understand.
They ran the ball 7
that's
times.
The thing. I understand you can get as mad as you want at Mitch Trubisky. You can say whatever you want. Okay. And I get it. Deshaun Watson is more of a quarterback you can be mad about. The Bears not getting. You knew what Deshaun Watson was. No one really knew what Patrick Mahomes was going to be. He was a Big 12 quarterback and everything. But I'm tired of hearing that. You can't go back. You're not going to go back and reverse the draft. My thing is,
as someone who's not a Bears fan, though, it is a lot of fun to bring it up.
Well, yeah, I understand. If I was,
I love it.
But you gotta look at it in a way. You gotta put a game plan around this quarterback that is going to help him win.
Yeah.
And throwing the ball 54 times, running the ball 7 times.
That's
David Montgomery got the ball 1 time. Why did we get rid of Jordan Howard?
Yeah.
Why did we get what was the point of moving up to get David Montgomery? What was the point of all of this? And then we go out, and Matt Nagy comes out today and says, I'm not an idiot. I knew we should have ran the ball.
Then why didn't he?
I know we need to run the ball. I'm not an idiot, I think was the quote.
Kind of proved you
did it yesterday. And I need you to – I think he needs to give up the play calling duty.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it time? Or is that a little premature panic?
Andy Reid gave up the play calling to Matt Nagy.
Yep.
Matt Nagy can give up the play calling to somebody else.
Right.
If Andy Reid can give up the play, and I understand he gave up the play calling to Matt Nagy, maybe he should. But there's a lot going on as a coach.
Oh yeah,
and he hasn't proven that he can put. Okay, we're talking about this before the podcast. They had 2 possessions in a row where they had a 2nd and 2. They threw the ball 4 times. 4 times.
Jesus.
Are you serious? What are you? How is that? In your head, a good thought.
Right.
2nd and 2, run the ball. You got to be able to do something. If your offensive line, if your running is that bad, then just give it up.
Yeah, for sure. But no, it was embarrassingly bad. I didn't realize the numbers till after, and I gave up on the game after like 3 quarters because they were a part of my teaser. They were not. The Saints were. I had that one in a lock, had lost the other one, so I stopped watching, went to the gym and watched a little bit of the end. But, like, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, the whole hype this year, and that's what, kind of kept them in the game against Green Bay was their running game. It sure as hell wasn't their passing game. And now you're going to run with, 7 – or no, it wasn't. It was the opposite. They only ran, like, 12 times against Green Bay.
Yeah,
and
then
that's
been their thing.
Then, the week after, all they do is run the ball, and they have success.
They really haven't had a game where they've ran the ball a significant amount of times. They've split between running and throwing, but there really hasn't been a significant change in the running game since game one. Like I said, they ran it 12 times. You got to get this running game going because when you don't have a running game, they are going to hone in on your passing game.
And the problem is like let's not beat around. Like the Bears wide receivers are not. Allen Robinson is your best wide receiver, but when that's your kid, like, and you're going to throw the ball, 48, 50 times a game, like you need to have like dogs at wide receiver. You need to have like 3 guys that are NFL top 30 if you're going to throw the ball that many times. The problem is also yesterday you throw the ball that many times. Mitch Trubisky, he did not look comfortable. He looked like he was throwing off his back foot a lot. He was relying on that for a lot of his power. I don't know. He just never looked like he was in a comfortable situation yesterday.
Well, the thing with the wide receivers, they were open. He missed a lot of throws. Those guys were open. They're good wide receivers. I'm not going to say that we need new wide receivers or anything. We need to have position that we can have a run like I don't know the last time the Bears had a 12 play. They ran it 6 and threw it 6, and they had a great great run down the field, or like a 16 or a 20. I want to know the last time they won possession of play, like during the game. Yeah. I feel like their offense just this year.
Honestly, it was probably the Minnesota game.
And this offense is hurting this defense, and you can tell they're getting tired. They're on the field for so much. But next week is one of the biggest games of the year. It is the biggest game of the year. You can't follow the 3-4. Yeah. You can't lose to the Chargers at home. I know it's the Chargers, but Philip Rivers is not looking good right now.
Right.
He's looking a little bit down. You could say maybe he's getting closer to the end of his career.
But at the same time, like the Bears, like it just feels like a black cloud is almost hanging over their head, right? Like anything that can go wrong is going wrong. And the nice thing, I shouldn't say the nice thing. The problem is that Philip Rivers is also an experienced quarterback that at the flip of a switch, you just feel that he could. I mean, this team was predicted to go to the AFC Championship. There are guys.
There has not been anything that he has done this year that has proven that he can still flip that switch.
Right.
And I
don't disagree, but it's not something you can take lightly.
No, but it's something that I'm not worried about the Chargers. I'm worried about the Bears going out. If the Bears go out and Mitch Trubisky has a good game and the running game can get going a little bit, and you let this defense have a little bit of rest, and you have some plays where you go down and kick a field goal, or you run the ball a few times, run the clock a little bit, not so many throws, and you have to get in the huddle and the clock is stopped.
For sure.
And the Bears should beat the Chargers at home with this team.
I agree.
It's just what should happen.
I didn't realize the Chargers are 2-5.
Yeah, they're not good. I mean, they're not good this year. But let's move on to some other games. Kansas City goes into Denver, wins pretty easily. Denver.
Pat Mahomes.
What?
Knee.
Oh yeah, it's a lot better than it should be.
Right, but
I think it's 3 games maybe.
Nice thing for my Packers, we're not going to have to face Patrick Mahomes. We're going to face Matt Moore.
That was
Chiefs.
Drew Brees, and that came back to bite me.
Well, Matt Moore is also a lot worse than Teddy Bridgewater, though.
Well, yeah, but the Denver just stinks. Joe Flacco, you stink, dude.
Yeah. Vic Fangio's in for a long one there.
I don't know why you thought that he was going to be the answer to your quarterback problems. I just don't get it.
Tough.
I don't get it. San Francisco.
Yeah, that game was ugly.
The R words. Awful game. Not awful game, I guess, but it was
they
rainy.
Played like 4 inches of water.
People were sliding around.
And that stadium sucks.
3 field goals is all we got out of that game. Robbie Gould, I think it was 3 of 4. But he did miss one, and he has been struggling a little bit this year.
If you watch the video, I mean, they were literally playing. It felt like
I know. I'm just saying. At the beginning
so I
of the
don't
year.
put that one on him. But at the same time, also you'll like this as a gambler. That was the first time since like 2007 that a 10-point favorite or a 10-point underdog covered the spread and didn't score because San Francisco was a 10-point favorite. So the Redskins were getting 10 points, so they didn't score, and they still covered the spread. My Packers steamrolling. Aaron Rodgers, 429 yards, 5 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. I think that I still think giving up 24 points to a bad Raiders team is not ideal. I think there are still holes in the defense, but I mean, the Packers and the 49ers look to be about the best two teams in the NFC right now. It's obviously we're only sitting at 6-1. There's still over half of the season left, but I really like where the Packers are looking right now, and you're setting yourself up for a good finish to the year. You got to be a little worried if you're chasing them right now, just the way they've handled some of the teams they've played. They played in Dallas.
At this point, I don't give a shit about any other team than it doesn't matter if the Packers are doing good or not. If the Bears can't get out of this rut, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're not even going to be a wild card team if they can't figure this out.
Like I said, everyone told, you got to worry about the Vikings, this and that. I don't care about any other team than the Bears right now. So,
for sure.
But something that makes me feel a little good right here. The Titans did end up winning, but Cody Parkey, another doink off the. I mean, I don't get what this guy's I mean, maybe you should never show in the videos of him hitting the targets all the time and stuff like that.
Well, didn't he say like he practices?
Practices.
Yeah, dummy.
I don't. I don't know if that actually did make me feel good or not, because it's one of those things. You're still paying that man like $5 million this year if you're a Bear. Philadelphia just goes into Dallas, gets beat bad, 37-10. Never was a good game. Aguilar, what was that? It looked like he
gave up.
Gave up, like he just brought his arms in.
I wonder if as he was looking up, he saw the scoreboard. And
That's the second time, because he did that against the Falcons. He just dropped that ball, which screwed my bet, which is why I remembered that.
They're in a bad spot. I saw that the playoff percentages. This was before the game when both the Cowboys and the Eagles were at 3-3. The playoff percentages for the team that goes to 4-3, it was like 74%. The team that dropped to 3-4 was like 17%. So that was a big one. The Rams bouncing back. We said they've got to bounce back, right? They bounced back in a nice way. They kicked the piss out of the Falcons, who are god awful. Quinn's going to get fired here by week 10. Just watch. They are a dog.
Speaking of the Eagles, though,
football team.
They will be playing the Bears in Philadelphia.
How did my Packers
9.
lose to the Eagles?
But it's one of those things. That
Eagles
game may not. That they both lose next week. That game may not really
even matter
for either team. That's crazy to think about that going into it. But
Bills, Dolphins.
Well, Vikings go into Detroit. Prove maybe either the Lions aren't as good as we thought, or maybe the Vikings are a little bit better than we gave them credit for. They had a bad game in Chicago, is kind of where it all started off, where we were on the Vikings are bad train, but Kirk Cousins has come back in the last 2 games and proven that he. I don't know. You can never trust Kirk Cousins, because
I would love for the division to come down to a primetime game between the Packers and the Vikings, because Kirk Cousins in primetime is just embarrassingly bad. Bills take care of the Dolphins, who actually kept it kind of close. Had a late. The Bills scored 22 points in the fourth quarter. They were down 14-9.
So that's all that matters. They cover the spread. So good job, guys.
In another game of 2 teams that no one really cares about right now, the Jaguars hold on to beat the Bengals. The Bengals might be the. This is so tough. Who do you think's the worst team? The Dolphins are. Well, even the Redskins have a win now. The Dolphins or the Bengals are both 0-7. The Bengals are bad, but at least the Bengals have some weapons, though.
Bengals. Speaking of that, Andy Dalton. I have gotten on the fact that I would take Andy Dalton.
Yeah,
I would take Andy Dalton.
Would you rather have him or Eli?
Him, because Eli, there's nothing to him. I mean,
right.
He's gonna retire
Andy Dalton was 22 for 43, which obviously those aren't good numbers. I don't think AJ Green is playing right now. I'll be honest, I haven't even paid much attention. But 276 yards and a touchdown, that's not terrible numbers. Colts, hold on. The Texans are so hard to figure out, dude. I don't know about you. I cannot figure the Houston Texans out to save my life. They beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Then they go to Indy and get beat pretty handily. I mean, it was only a touchdown, but that game was 30-23. The Texans should, if you want to be a team that's going to go to the AFC Championship or even the second round of the AFC playoffs, you have to be able to go into places like Indy and beat the Jacoby Brissett-led Colts. Yeah. Like, I can't figure them out. Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback, but he can't have these inconsistent games. I don't know. I can't figure them out.
Seattle loses to Baltimore at home.
The teaser
it's one of those things. We were all saying how high we were on the Seahawks, and Lamar Jackson looked good.
Finally, the Ravens beat a team that's worth a damn, though.
Yeah, they're trying to
Big
prove.
Cat even said, like, you have to, in order for them to not be frauds, you have to win one of the next two games. It was Seattle, and then they have the Patriots. They handled Seattle pretty easily.
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson looked good in the process. He's going to have one of the best running.
14 carries for 116 yards.
He's having one of the best quarterback rushing seasons almost of all time.
Yeah, of all time.
I think Michael Vick only had 1,000 yards like once in his career.
Did he really?
That's kind of, you would think with all the running that he did, you would think he would have more, but I heard that on some.
Hey, for the first time in like
9
or 7 years, the Cardinals have won 3 games in a row.
Fucking Cardinals screwed up my parlay.
They're looking good, though. I mean, they're not looking great. They haven't beat a ton of good teams, but they're starting to put a couple things together. And then in another game of 2 teams that no one gives a rat's ass about, the Titans do beat the Chargers.
If you want to hear our Week 8 preview, we will be doing our Week 8 TCF NFL Pick Show Week 8 here in the next few days. We'll get it out here. By the time you hear this, it'll already be out. So go watch it on our YouTube page. If you want to know what we think about Week 8 and everything leading up to it. Because you can kind of figure out if we're how much of a dummies we are. Yeah. You listen to that and then listen to this show, what actually happened and how we were wrong. So if you want to do that, you can listen. Maybe that would be kind of fun for listeners to do. Figure out how wrong we were.
Oh, for sure. It's not that easy. Hey, let's go to college football because that was one of the biggest upsets I've ever seen. I know you had it bet the other way, but let's not beat around that. Lovie Smith just bought himself another year at Illinois with 1 win. They're terrible, but they hang on and beat number 6 Wisconsin on homecoming at Champaign-Urbana. How does Illinois win that game? Wisconsin was a 31.5-point favorite.
They got cute. And Illinois is not great or good.
They're bad.
But I get that. But this win is going to go a long way.
Oh,
in getting recruits. Lovie Smith has a lot of NFL and college players on his staff that are kind of bigger names.
For sure.
I think he is building something good there. I think that this is a big step in the process for Illinois. I understand they didn't have any red zone plays, but their defense played pretty good.
They only gave up 23 points to a very good Wisconsin.
A run game that has been has crushed Michigan, has crushed all the teams that they played before this. I think, yes, you can say maybe it was kind of a fluke in a way, but Illinois set themselves up to win, and they kicked.
It's the gray ghost uniforms. They got to wear those every week now.
This is why you have a good kicker as a college. I don't know if Alabama's kicker could have made that.
Right.
It's insane that some of these big schools don't have good kickers, and Illinois has a good kicker, and that's why they won this game. Yeah, that's why they won this game.
For sure.
So I think a lot of credit to Illinois. And isn't that crazy? Matt Nagy loses a game for the Bears. It's just looks awful for the Bears, and Lovie Smith just winning games against number 6 teams in the nation for Illinois.
In their defense, Illinois is 3-4 and it's pretty terrible. But how about another coach?
Keep saying that
They're bad, dude. They're bad.
You can't say that.
It was a fluke win.
Dude, Illinois.
That will be Illinois' only conference win this year.
That's fine, dude. They beat the number 6 team in the nation.
They're bad. Speaking of coaches who might have
beat Utah.
Huh?
NIU.
We're not supposed to beat Utah.
You're not supposed to beat Illinois.
Yeah, look who else Illinois has played. They're supposed to
beat Wisconsin.
I know, but they've also lost games they're supposed to win.
And so
Illinois did not get paid to beat Wisconsin Saturday.
No, but
we got paid to go out to Utah and lose.
I understand that, but
you're just salty because you had the spread.
No, I'm not salty at all. I just think it's the slander coming from you is because
it's a Big Ten school you're comparing to a MAC school that's getting paid
I'm comparing
money?
to you because that's what you're doing. You love NIU and you hate on ISU and Illinois, and that's why you're saying that they won a big game. I don't think that you should.
Sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. Speaking of coaches who might have saved themselves for another year, I know they didn't win the game. What is your thoughts on Jim Harbaugh? They lose to Penn State by 7 at Penn State. Tough environment. Michigan sitting at 5-2. Is Jim Harbaugh going to survive in Michigan?
I would say, yeah. I don't really know what better coach you're going to get. The contract's there. But no, you got to win that game. If you're Jim, I'm tired of hearing, oh, they lost by a touchdown. Right. That's a good process. No, Jim Harbaugh is there to win big games like that. If you don't win the game, he's not working on a spread.
Right.
He's not working, if he covers, then he's doing okay. No, he needs to win big games, and he doesn't win big games.
For sure.
So,
but the problem is, I don't know if you're going to find a more passionate guy, and the problem is, like,
yeah, you say that. There are a lot of passionate college football coaches. And, yeah, they're not all Jim Harbaugh and been playing with the 49ers, but he's not the most passionate person of all time.
Yeah, no, I agree. But he's also an alumni, and he's famous there. Like, I don't think they're going to fire him.
They don't win games.
I agree. I just don't see them firing him.
Florida goes into South Carolina.
We de facto just beat Georgia. We beat South Carolina by 10. South Carolina beat Georgia. We don't even have to play Georgia this year.
Yeah, that's
de facto wins. Put us in the Final Four.
That does not work that way.
Should.
Ohio State, though. They are
Pat Fitzgerald should be unemployed.
Dude, Pat Fitzgerald. That's one of the cushiest jobs ever. I don't know how he's still.
And then, of course, did you see they boasted they had a 100% graduation rate? Like, yeah, it's freaking Northwestern, dude. Everybody that gets in there should be able to graduate.
Other than that, there really wasn't too much upsets.
Team you love, and I'm so glad to see they got routed. Arizona State got smacked in the mouth by Utah, 21-3. Poor Herm Edwards in that offense couldn't get anything going.
I don't feel sorry for anybody at ASU because you still go to Arizona State.
Yeah, exactly. How about this one? We talked about this on the live show. BYU upsetting Boise State. It wasn't really an upset to me. It was at home, but BYU moves to 3-4. Boise State was undefeated going into that game.
Vanderbilt, they were 21-point underdogs and outright beat
Missouri. Missouri stinks too.
But I don't care. That is a good win. They're 22 in the nation.
Yeah. I couldn't believe when I saw that Missouri was 22 in the country.
It's a weird year for Missouri. I think they're
Iowa almost lost to Purdue.
I know. I had that spread too, didn't hit. But they're also, I think they're on a bowl ban, Missouri.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's kind of weird.
One team I think to keep your eye open for, and I don't know how far they're going to get with this undefeated thing. Minnesota is sitting at 7-0, and granted they beat Rutgers. Rutgers should be relegated to Division II.
There's a lot going good around Minnesota.
Did you see the story with the holder,
4-time cancer survivor, and he got to play. And
dude, I'm getting the older I get, that gives me a little.
Me too.
Teary-eyed.
But I just can't stand PJ.
Oh, thank you. And he went to NIU. I should love him. The dude's an ass clown.
He was crying. I would have done the same thing. Crying.
Yeah. I'm not saying about that. I just don't like the guy.
I want Minnesota to lose.
Me too.
I want Minnesota to lose. I don't like PJ Fleck.
I agree. I have a problem with a guy who makes millions of dollars a year that won't allow his players to wear their name on the back of a uniform, but he gets to put his row the boat BS everywhere. And instead of their names, they have to put row the boat on the back of their uniforms.
I think he's a fake.
Guy makes millions. I think he's a fraud.
He's fraud.
I agree.
But
how about Kansas? Can we talk? That's the last one I want to bring up. Kansas damn near beat the 15th ranked Texas Longhorns.
I don't know.
Les Miles is going to get things done in Kansas, I think. Give him 3 years.
Oh, like you said, a lot. You kind of have an extra possession, pretty much, or
Never
extra
punt.
play every possession because they're going to go for it on fourth down. Which a team like Kansas, why not go for fourth down more often when you're playing Texas?
Nothing to lose.
Go for it. It also shows. I think Texas is an okay team, but they're not going. They're not going to compete for a play. They're 11 right now. I don't think they were going to.
They're
be
not
able to.
Oklahoma. They're not Alabama. They're not Clemson. They're not Georgia.
But yeah, it was
Ohio State. Ohio State's best team in the country. I'm still sitting by that.
We got some good games coming up here next. We got Wisconsin, Ohio State. That was going to be a bigger game than it's going to be, but Wisconsin can still bounce back and be.
For sure.
Because I still think they have a team that is good, a defense that is pretty good. Like I said, Illinois didn't have a play in the red zone.
Yeah, they have a really good chance to go into the conference championship with one loss.
But LSU, Auburn. That's going to be a good game. There's a lot of good games coming up here, but those are both. One is at 11 and one is at 2:30. So there's going to be some early.
What's the night game?
Let's see here. We got Notre Dame, Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Which is not going to be as big of a game either because Notre Dame 5-1, not going to make the tournament.
Michigan 5-2.
Because you know what? Maybe if you had a conference championship game to play, it would boast you at the end of the season. But that's just me being a crazy person.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it. But Texas going to TCU, only 1-point favorites right now.
I kind of love Texas -1.
I think I like TCU. I don't like Texas. I understand, but neither is Texas. Texas is overrated.
But I don't know.
Overrated. Minnesota, they get Maryland at home.
Maryland's trash.
What a tough schedule.
Yeah. Maryland looked like barn burners at the beginning of the year. Remember, they were putting up like 65 points a game, and now they're 4-4.
Michigan State not that good, but Penn State goes to Michigan State. That still could be a
that's
weird
an early
game
too, isn't it?
Let's see here.
Those early games always seem to just go as on
2:30.
Oh,
wow, there's a lot of games. You got that. You got Auburn, LSU, Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Iowa, Northwestern, Oklahoma, and Kansas State. Holy cow, they're 24-point favorite. I think that's. What do you think of the whole Jalen? I understand he's working out after the games, but it seems like every time after a game, Jalen Hurts is always posting a picture or a video of him working out.
Bro, it's just to get his draft stock up, man. It's I think so many more people are doing it, but he's just making sure he puts something in.
Yeah, make sure you know that I'm working out after a 50-point blowout.
Yeah, dude. Like, come on, man. It's kind of a try-hard move, but
yeah. Which now that I look at it, I think I love Oklahoma first half.
Who did you say they have? Kansas State.
Kansas State at Kansas State.
Ass.
4-2. I love
Kansas State's 4-2.
Yeah, they're 4-2.
No way. That's unbelievable.
You think I'm?
No. That just blows my mind.
I fooled you.
I'm Bill Snyder still the coach there? Jesus Christ, the man was a coach that was like 95.
Iowa Northwestern though, take the under. 37.5. Take the under. I love the under. But yeah,
that's weird to hear you say you're not betting an over.
Well, I got screwed on 2 overs yesterday or Saturday. 2 unders. That's why I don't take unders.
Oh, so Bill Snyder, speaking of, this is my ADD brain. Bill Snyder, who was the coach at Kansas State for like ever, retired at the end of last year. Yeah, he's 80 years old. He coached Division I football till he was 79. Are you kidding me?
Why would you? That's a long time.
When I'm 79, I'm hoping I'm dead for 5 years.
Whoa. That's not a good outlook.
I'm being a little sarcastic, but
I don't know if you are.
I mean, it's not that far off.
Yeah. Well, that was it. We're going on to week 9 of college football, week 8 of NFL. It is just flying by.
Way too fast.
Blackhawks are, they're 1-4. I think they lost the other night.
No, I just saw something. They're not.
I think they're 1-4.
No, they're.
I don't think they've won 2 games, have they?
Yeah, I thought they did. I thought I just saw it. Give me a second. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. But I could have sworn I thought they said they were 2-something and.
Let's hope they are. And then we got the Bulls. They start Wednesday, which, like I said, when you're watching this, you already know what the outcome is. But I'm excited for the season. I think they're going to have a good chance to
2-3-1.
2-3-1. Good.
But they've only got 5 points.
Compete for a spot in the East. So I'm excited about that. It's gonna be exciting. They got young guys out there. This is the team of the future. These guys are going to be around for the long haul. We don't have Brooke Lopez out there, which I like Brooke Lopez.
Oh, for sure.
Robin.
Jeez.
Robin. I liked him out there. He was a good player, but that wasn't your future.
Right.
All
exactly.
these guys could be the future of your team.
I saw Satoransky's going to be starting point guard. I love that move a lot. Yep, I love that move. Bringing Kobe White off the bench as he continues to develop his 3. I did see who was it? Daniel Gafford will not be second string to start the year, maybe. So it'll be interesting to see
what happens with that. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
Maybe he could end up in the G League for a little bit, play it out there a little bit. I think that needs to be used a little more for some young guys.
Can Denzel Valentine stay healthy for one freaking season?
We may not want that.
That's true.
We'll see. I still think that he's going
to.
I still think he could be a decent player, though. I think a lot of these guys should still be. I mean, like I said, I've become a big fan of Thomas Satoransky.
Me too.
I got
big
that
fan.
name first try. Good for me.
I'm impressed.
Boomy, what was your TCF top 3?
So we've been to so many different games. Let's do our top 3 promotional giveaways at sporting events.
Okay. I'll go. Oh, wait,
Go ahead. No, you can have it. Do you have one in mind?
I love a good bobblehead.
I knew that was coming.
I love a good bobblehead. I mean, if you could give me any kind of bobblehead, I just love bobbleheads. If you give me a free bobblehead at a game, you've won me over. As a team, I will always like that team because I will just always have the bobblehead around because I don't know. I'm a big fan of the bobblehead giveaways, and it just makes you feel good. And it's not like a huge thing you have to carry around. It's just a little box.
For sure.
And you hope to find maybe 1 or 2 laying around. But you get a game you could play. Go to these games, get it. They're selling for like $50 sometimes.
Oh, yeah, dude.
If they're like only
They
getting
are
sold
not
at the game,
cheap.
like the Players Weekend ones for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Like those were going for quite a bit.
Dude, they are not cheap. I actually looked to get like some more bobbleheads for the cave, and they are not cheap at all. All right, I'm going to go with this. You see this rarely, but a replica jersey giveaway.
That's
You
tough.
see this very rarely, and it's usually only like the first
very rare.
500 people. So it's a pretty small number, and there's always a big, like, if it's let's say a Cubs jersey, it'll
But it's
say
tough
the
because
Cubs logo.
the sizes, though.
Right, but then on the back, it always says, like, Nuveen Investments.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know what I'm saying? It's always a little different, but you know me, I love a good jersey, so I will go with the promotional, and as you go to the minors, the more promotion or the more advertisements you see put on the jerseys that they actually give away. So
I'm a big playoff towel guy.
oh,
Going
that's a good one.
I used to go to some of the bowls when they were. Well, actually, quick story. I went to the Chris Bryant first hit in Major League career. That's hit,
awesome.
And then I went to I think it was the Bulls Wizards.
Okay.
First game of the playoffs, in the first round. I think Carlos Boozer actually missed a pretty wide open layup to tie the game or something. They ended up losing. But I loved the nice. They did it when the Cubs were in the playoffs, and then you just get the W towel or any kind of towel. You can whip it around. You can have some fun with it, and it gets the crowd into it. And it's always nice to take that home. It's kind of smaller, like with being a towel. You can just have it as a memorabilia. It's always nice to have.
That's
Maybe
a good
get
one.
it signed by somebody. That always enhances the value of the towel, but like I said, playoff towels. I don't like just a random towel in a regular season.
You like
gotta
a good
be a playoff
rally
towel.
towel. I like
minus the towel. Was that the dirty? What's the one that the Steelers have?
the terrible towel.
That's not a towel I like.
I am going to go with Man, there's some good ones. I'm gonna go with like a beer stein or like a beer glass.
What kind of games are you going to?
Dude, what? They give away stuff away all the time.
Where?
Minor league game. I go to more
minor
league games than I go to professional games. Yeah, I'm gonna go with like a beer glass, or even like I've seen some give away, not obviously Yetis, but like tumblers. So like glassware or something to drink out of.
Okay. I need to start going to games with you. I guess
Yeah,
some
man.
cool giveaways.
Dude, I'm telling
jerseys
you.
and cups.
Yeah. Oh
What
yeah.
else is?
You're missing out.
Let's see here. What's a good giveaway? Trying to think of a giveaway that I've.
This should be easy for you.
What?
Minor league, think about it. Mini bats.
But they don't give them away.
Sometimes they do.
Okay, then a mini bat giveaway.
Yeah, dude.
I like mini. Well, I'm just a mini bat
You're a mini bat
enthusiast.
guy. Yeah. I like that one because I have seen a couple of those. My last one, this is an easy one for a fat guy like me. Vouchers for food. You see those all the time at minor league games. Like, buy 2 hot dogs, get 1 free. Okay, I can eat 3 hot dogs.
Are
yeah.
you sure? I
Free
think that
food
extra
vouchers?
hot dog?
Yes, I have absolutely
Darn it,
done
I have to eat the extra hot dog.
Yeah,
You gave it to me.
exactly.
I also like the
If you're gonna
giveaways,
twist
like
my arm.
when it has like the little cards, and then like you
Yes.
have like the bagel or the coffee or the
on-screen
egg or
games.
something, and then
Yep.
you get to.
I am all for on that too.
I'm a big fan of that. But that was our TCF top 3
Promotional giveaways.
Promotional giveaways.
Yep.
Bobblehead will always be king of all promotional giveaways, I think. If you want to draw a crowd, you bring the bobblehead game.
Yes.
Even if it's like a character, like it could be going to the Cubs game and like a Dwight Schrute. That would just be awesome.
Yeah, no,
I need a Dwight Schrute bobblehead. That's one we do need. But thank you for listening, watching to episode 53 of Typical Chicago Fans, presented by From the Sideline. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at ZLiljatCF, Liljatcf. The main page is at typical_Chicago. From the Sideline, either type in From the Sideline on Twitter or at Sideline. The first I is a 1 in Sideline Sports. Again, that is at Sideline. The first I in Sideline is a 1 Sports. We do a Facebook live show once a week between Tuesdays and Thursdays, usually around 7 or 8. We usually give you about 5 to 6 hour notice, if I can remember, on Twitter and Facebook. We talk about all sports, college. We got so much sports going on right now that the show just goes by so quickly. We love the comments. We love the interaction with the fans. We've been having great comments. So like I said, if you want to go out there, get interacting with us, tell us how stupid we are, what you think we should be talking about. It's always on there. Like I said, that's our quickest comment. You can always comment on this, but if you really want to get to us it's on there.
On the live show,
the quick responses, and sometimes you can even get in my head and get me mad, and it's kind of funny on air. It makes me look dumb, but it's for the people.
Exactly.
It's for the people. And then From the Sideline on Facebook, and then Instagram, we do ping pong. We always post that on there. It's Typical Chicago Fans, and then From the Sideline.
Make sure you follow me on Twitter at BoomyTCF. All of the podcasts, you're either listening here or on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Subscribe, rate, and review. Leave us something nice. We will be doing a promotional giveaway, but somewhere in the holidays for the best reviews out there. So make sure you're getting those in. Subscribe to the YouTube page. We got our Impossible Whopper burger taste test coming up on YouTube. And as the weather continues to get crappy, I'm going to stay on Zach about getting all of our summer content out and possibly some more stuff coming.
Yeah,
there's no the YouTube page.
There's not going to be a lot of chances or reasons to go outside in the next few months here, because it seems like the weather is turning quickly.
Yes.
Quickly.
It was like 39 this morning, I think.
I'm just not a fan of it. Not a fan. But again, thank you for listening, watching. We love you all.
Peace.